Good afternoon, this is a video all about saving you money on food. With food prices higher than at any time in the last century and still rising, many people need help with this situation. Hopefully the information we share today helps you save some money on your food bills. The first thing would be time and organisational skills. Preparation is the key to saving you money on food bills. Making time to cook from scratch and even learn how to cook new recipes from scratch and being organised in advance will save you money on your food bills. Ready meals, pre-prepared food items and takeaways are so expensive nowadays. Organising lunches and dinners in advance and making a meal plan for the entire week can help you save money and prevent food waste. Batch cooking and saving leftovers will also save you money. Number 2 was research some recipes. There's some great resources out there now. Jack Monroe has her own website and so many cooking books out, and there's recipes on wartime sites from back in the war when they had rationing. A great cookbook to get yourself would be Cooking on a Bootstrap by Jack Monroe or The Tin Can Cook. One pot recipes are also a great idea because you're saving on fuel as well. You want to look for ingredients that are quick to cook. That can also save on fuel, like couscous, instant mash, and of course eggs. Eggs are so versatile and can also be really quick to cook, and they're very nutritious. There's some great money saving recipes out there, and on the Jack Monroe website she actually has a page dedicated to showing you how to meal plan and how to write out your shopping list by going through all your cupboards to see what you have left. Try as hard as you can not to waste any food. With any leftover peelings you can use them as stocks or to make the start of a soup base. Save your fat to cook with. If you're cooking meat and any fat comes off the meat, save it and keep it for the next time you're cooking. It'll give your food a nice flavour as well and also save you money on oil. Chop up all your veg really small or grate it. This also saves money on your cooking time. The third thing I think we could save money on is meat. Meat is becoming more and more expensive. What I find works is bulking out meat with oats, lentils, barley or things like grated carrot. If you can find cheaper cuts of meat as well, these can be okay if you cook them in the slow cooker. They don't come out tough, they turn out okay. Other ways to get meat that's a bit cheaper would be your likes of tinned mackerel. That can be quite cheap in shops like Aldi and Lidl, and it's another way to get fish in your diet if you can't afford the fresh fish. If you are able to go fishing in season, then that's a great idea if you can stock it in your freezer, or hunting if you are able to go hunting. Then that's another way to get meat. If you're able and you know the laws and everything surrounding it, then yeah, it's a great way to stock up on meat. The other thing would be, instead of buying those packs of chicken that just have a few bits in it, buying a whole chicken, which can last you so many more meals, and you can use the bones to make stock afterwards as well. The next idea we had to save you money would be some kitchen items that we've been using that we've found have saved us money. The first one is the Wonder Bag, which we've done a video of this recently. One of the recipes that we did was in the Wonder Bag. It's basically a non-electric slow cooker. So you start off cooking your food on the stove and then you put the lid on it and you stick it straight into the Wonder Bag. You seal it all up and you leave it for a few hours, and when you come back the food is cooked through and it's nice and soft the way it would come out of a slow cooker, but without having to use any electric. The second item that we use all the time is the big thermos air pot. In the morning, the first thing we do is boil the kettle. If my son's going out to anywhere in the morning, he takes his lunch with him in a show food flask. So we would top up from the kettle into the show food flask, and then from there we empty that into the thermos air pot and the rest of the kettle water straight into the thermos air pot. So it saves us boiling the kettle 3 or 4 times for different cups of tea. It keeps it warm, and the show food flask also keeps his food warm all day until he's able to have his break and eat. We also have the thermos cups that you can take, the travel cups. That saves us buying coffee, tea outside. We make that up and take it out with us. And we also have the show drinks flasks, which either you can put hot or cold liquid in. They keep it hot or cold for a certain amount of hours. That saves us buying drinks outside. And the last thing that we've been using is these little sandwich bags. I think we got ours from a shop called Rex London. They were only a few pence each, but you can put sandwiches, rolls, anything like that in them. It saves you using cling film or tin foil or anything like that, and they're quite good actually. So all of the items that I've just discussed, they really help us save money because they help us to be more organised. In the show food flask, my son takes leftovers from the night before. We heat them up in the morning, put the water into the flask, empty the water into the jug. That's just to make sure the flask is warm. And then we put the heated up food into that and we seal it up. When he opens that up at lunchtime, it's still hot. It saves him buying food from the canteen every day or going out and getting takeaway lunches every day. The same with the drinks cups. It just saves us buying teas and coffees and juices and things outside. And also the Wonder Bag and the thermos, the big air pot, that has saved us money on energy. We're not boiling the kettle all day long and we're not having the cooker on for great lengths of time either now. Okay, so the next thing would be to save you some money on your shopping. Currently we are using an app which you put in the item that you're looking for. So say it was baked beans, and it comes up with all the different supermarkets and the prices for all the baked beans that they stock, so you can go through and find out who's selling items for the cheapest. This works great if you write a shopping list and you have specific items that you're looking for. You can go through and write down where you're going to go for them. If you've got the time to do that, shopping around will save you a lot of money. The next thing is buying in bulk if possible. If I give you an example, I was looking at powdered onion because sometimes it's good for recipes. Now, if I had bought a 125 gram bag, it would have cost me £1.86. But if I bought the 1000 gram bag, which was 1 kilogram, it was costing me £6.84. So you can see that it's saving me a lot of money to buy the larger bag than it would be to buy the smaller bag. It's saving me something like 118% actually. If I'd bought 8 of the small bag to make the same amount, it would have cost me £14.88 as opposed to £6.84. So buying in bulk will always save you more money as well. So if you can manage, that's a great way to save money on your shopping. I've posted before about reduced items and shopping for offers on items. If you can manage to go at the times when shops reduce their items, you'll save a lot. And if you're going to be freezing the stuff, if it's meat or bread and you're putting it in the freezer, it's absolutely fine anyway. Don't go shopping when you're hungry because you will buy a lot of rubbish. And we have noticed that Lidl and some of the other supermarkets are doing veg boxes with fruit and veg in them. I think the Lidl one's about £3.50 and you get a lot in it. And the stuff's fine, it's absolutely usable. It's not, I think some people think it might be almost off, but the ones we've had have been great, so that's saved us a lot of money. Okay, without wanting to sound cheeky, the next thing that has saved us money is changing habits. Not buying branded food. So say for instance that your favourite brand is Heinz. Heinz can be a lot more expensive than shop's own brand makes. And it's not always the best either. If you look at the ingredients on the backs of them, sometimes the shop's own brand actually is much nicer ingredients in it than a brand name, and you're saving some money. The other thing would be to change your habits in terms of buying takeaways, buying food outside. Try and keep leftovers if you can. If you're cooking one night, try and keep some of it for leftovers and take that for lunch the next day, or even use it for dinner the next day. It will save you money. If your house is anything like mine and you have hungry Horaces who like to go in and eat up the leftovers, make sure you wrap them up and put them in the fridge before they do that. And also maybe suggest to them instead to take a drink, like a drink of water or a cup of tea or something like that, maybe some crackers, or dip a bit of toast in tea instead of eating up the leftovers, which could be used for dinner the next day. I know it sounds quite extreme, but also rationing your food can also help you to save money. If you know that you can make something last a little bit longer, if you just portion it out for each person, then that's a great way to save money. And at the moment, I think there's probably people doing that just because of necessity. Maybe instead of having 3 meals a day, cutting it down to 2, or even 1 meal a day, unfortunately. But needs must. And to go on with this, if you are someone who takes sugar in your tea or coffee, or your kids maybe like diluting juice, maybe just cutting down on the amount of sugar that you take. Maybe instead of taking 2 spoons, cut down to take 1 spoon. If your children like the diluting juice, like I say, cutting down just gradually how much they take in their water, and that can also save you money as well. Okay, so the next thing that we wanted to say would be, if you can at all manage to grow some of your own things this year, that will save you money. Find any way you can to grow your own herbs, any vegetables, any fruit. You can also find wild grown fruit such as apples and berries. There's places where you can get access to allotments. Maybe even just ask if you can help someone out on their allotment, and they might let you take some of the produce home. There are also groups being set up all over the place where people are getting together and trying to grow fruit and veg in their own communities. So if you have a look where you are, you might find something like this. Even if it's just growing some herbs on your windowsill, if you can only afford bland food like rice or plain pasta, plain rice and beans. Yeah, so growing your own can not only save you money, but it can make things a bit more palatable as well. Okay, so the last money saving tip that we had was to join a group. Community can really help you get through these times. Maybe a church group or a community group where you can go during the day or at the weekend, where they offer a hot meal. You can take your children, you can get out of the cold, you can have something to eat. And some of these places will give you food parcels to take home, which can also save you money. There's also community groups being set up to grow your own food, and community groups being set up to show you money saving recipes and cooking, where you can actually go and cook there, which saves you energy, and then you can go home and you can have hot food that day for your family as well. I read that in China, communities are forming groups to buy food in bulk from wholesalers. So what they do is they'll get together in a group of flats, and they'll all pitch in ideas of what they can buy, and they'll buy it as a group so that they can save money buying the food in bulk. There's also an app called the Too Good To Go app. So if you register with them, you can see all the food that people are getting rid of at the end of the day, like Greggs, the bakers, they get rid of bags of food. I think you pay something like £3 or something for the bag, and you get like a bag of stuff that they would normally just throw out at the end of the day. So that can be another way that you can save money. So hopefully some of the ideas that we've shared today can help you save some money on your food shopping or your food costs in general. And we hope you've liked the video. If you have, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos coming up on more ways to save money.